Hey, what is up guys, it's Galaxytech Darklord here, coming to you guys with my first deck profile of the new format of July 2015. So it's going to be Sylvans, and I have made some improvements since the last build. Last build I got a couple of comments saying, oh, you haven't got any Gin lockouts. So I did put some in, then the new list came out which hit Gin lock, so I decided to, make some improvements here and there. And I'm not so concerned about Ginlock because it's not a thing anymore. So yeah, I'll get straight into the deck profile. So I'm going to start off with 3 copies of Sylvan Sagequoia. I love this card so much. It makes great rank 7 plays. It's so easy to summon. The only thing I don't like about it is summoning it with Lonefire, and also its ability to the fact that it doesn't give you a draw when it excavates a plant, which is quite a downer. But when it's excavating, it gives you a spell or trap. It gives you a Sylvan spell or trap from the graveyard. That is quite good. So next, I've got 3 copies of Hermitree, of course, your draw power, your rank 8 engine, and it can restack the top 3 cards of your deck when it's excavated. Need I say more? And then playing 2 copies of Sylvan Peaskeeper, because you really need your, if you've got a Lonefire in the graveyard or something or other, you really want to get it back, then this is a perfect card. Next I'm playing 2 copies of Marshalleaf for the monster removal, and 2 copies of Princessprout for extra Xyz monster plays for your rank 7s and 8s if you haven't got a spare Hermitree or Sagequoia. Thing I should also say about this card, I would run it at 3, but 3 gets very cloggy even with Sylvan Charities. So yeah. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Cherubsprout because I'm actually playing a bit more of a level 1 engine in here. Upsetting. I'm really quite annoyed, to be honest, that Konami decided to make the new rank 1 Sylvan Xyz a OCG exclusive, because I really wish that we could play it here in the TCG, because it's just such a great card. But anyway, so yeah, we've got a lot of level 1s. We've got Cherubsprout and a couple more in this deck as well, which I'll get into later on. Then playing 1 copy of Komushroomo, because there's not a lot of spells and traps to destroy, and I generally don't like. It's very rare I even open with this anyway, so just the one for the spell and trap outs. And that makes up the whole Sylvan engine. And then for the generic stuff, got 3 copies of Lonefire, of course. If it's at 3, you run 3. Just gets you into your... It just thins your deck. If you go full ham with this, you summon Lonefire, get another Lonefire, soul charge them back. Symbols of heritage, all that. Just really great. And then 2 copies of Rose Lover. Now, some people don't actually run that many. Some people run 1. Some people don't run any at all because they say it's terrible. But I like to think of it as, in Infernacies, you run Stygian Street Patrol. It's a given. And in Sylvans, you run this because this is also a given. Because this is basically Stygian Street Patrol for your plants. And and the monster is unaffected by trap cards as well for the remainder of the turn, which is really, really essential. Because if they've got Torrential Tribute, or they've got Bottomless Trap Hole, or something like that, and out to your summon, then this completely blocks it. So yeah, and then I've cut down to 1 copy of Rose Paladin because I don't need it all that often. There are times when it is really useful to search out Sagequoia or something, but other than that, it's not a card that I like to see all that much. And then playing 1 copy of Glow-Up Bulb, 1 copy of Spore, and actually 1 copy of Copy Plant, because I found it in testing is actually really useful. So yeah, so these 3 are also the level 1 monsters that you can get out, as well as Rose Lover with your Cherubsprout when it's excavated, which is really useful depending on what you go for. I generally go for Copy Plant because if you've got a Sagequoia or a Hermitree on the field, you can go straight for a rank 8 or a rank 7. and it also opens up. These also open up very nice synchro plays as well. Next is the spells. I am opening up with 3 copies of Sylvan Charity. So Graceful Charity for Sylvans. You have to run this card at 3. No way you should run any less. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Mount Sylvania. Now I was actually considering dropping this down to 2 and just having 1 Terraforming. But I really like this card at 3. It's really nice to see it. I mean, seeing too many of them is not great, but that doesn't happen all that often. And if I have too many, then sometimes I put it back with Sylvan Charity, which is really nice. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Miracle Fertilizer because you just have to play this just late game when you don't need to normal summon that much, or if there are no cards in your hand early game that you need to normal summon, you've got Hermitrees or Sagequoias in the graveyard. This is just so great, and when you go for an Xyz monster, this does not go away from the field, so it just becomes a once per turn monster reborn, which is really great. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Forbidden Lance because this is a combo deck and you really want your plays to go off. There are some cards that can really hurt this deck, and that's why Forbidden Lance is just so useful. Especially useful if you've got a Felgrand on the field and you need to protect this against your opponent's spells and traps, so that your Felgrand can then protect itself against your opponent's monster effects, which is really useful. Just like protecting this with protecting Evolzar Lagia with this. And then playing 1 copy of Soul Charge. Of course, you have to play this card in Sylvans. Its synergy with Lonefire Blossom is just way too good. And then playing 1 copy of Symbols of Heritage, because for the same reason as Soul Charge, it really helps extend your Lonefire plays. If you feel like overextending, these 2 cards are just so great. And then playing 1 copy of 1 for 1 because you just have to. With the rank 1s that we're playing in this deck, it's absolutely essential to just play this card. You really, really need it. Then playing 1 copy of Raigeki. It was actually in my shadows. Had a proxy just now. But yeah, playing 1 copy of Raigeki just to clear your opponent's board and go for game. It's really useful. Then playing 1 copy of Foolish Burial because it's useful to. I was actually considering dumping it from the deck, but it's really useful if you just want to put something in your graveyard like a Hermitry or a Sagequoia, or even actually a Rose Lover, so that you can get a Hermitry out of your hand, or a Sagequoia. So yeah, and then 1 copy of Terraforming to finish that off. So just in case you need to get the Sylvania out of your hand with Charity because there's no other choice, and then you got this, you can just search out the Sylvania again. So that is the whole deck. No traps. I would consider running Royal Decree in the side, or Trap Stun, but other than that, I wouldn't think that traps are even that useful in this deck. They just slow the deck down a whole lot. So getting on to the extra deck, I'm playing 2 copies of Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. I think it's just best that you run this at 3. I know people who run only 1, but it's just not good at 1. You need this at 2. 3 is overkill, but and not needed. But if you get 2 of these out and say a Draco Sack, then that's generally game. So yeah, and then I'm playing 1 copy of TachyonDragon just in case your opponent's playing something, a monster that has an effect that activates during the battle phase, say El Shaddai Construct, for example. Because your El Shaddai Constructs are your opponent's El Shaddai Construct it has to activate during the battle phase if it's a special summon monster, and then it would be negated, and TachyonDragon would then gain 1000 attack and would be able to attack again. So yeah, really good. And then I'm not playing Heliopolis because there's just no space for it, and I don't find it useful. And then playing 1 copy of Alze because it is useful in some cases. If your opponent has a problem card and you think, okay, I'm gonna either dig for Sylvan Charities or dig for Miracle Fertilizers. If you call it wrong, then you get to bounce an opponent's card. If you call it right and you get the right card, then it just puts you at a bigger advantage anyway. So yeah. and it also has a very nice 3200 defense as well. And then for the rank 7s, I am playing one copy of Aurea, the Sylvan High Arbiter, because it's just really great to just spin cards on the field back to your opponent's hand, especially if they're cards that your opponent will have a difficult time summoning back. And then playing one copy of Dracosack, it's a given. It's needless to say why I'm running it in this deck, rank 7s and all. And the same with Big Eye. And then I'm playing one copy of Master of Blades to round off the Xyz monsters. I was considering playing some rank 4s or something, but there's just no need for them at all. There's no level 4s in here in this deck, and you could make them with Copy Plant and Cherubsprout, but there's just no point. So then for the Synchros, I'm playing one copy of Formula Synchron, because you can make it with the level 1 utility in this deck. Gives you an extra draw power. Then I'm playing one copy of Armory Arm, one Armades, one Black Rose, because, plants, and it's also got a nice clearing effect. Then one Scrap Dragon, because you can also use this for rank 8s after you've used its normal effect. And then playing one Leo. I'm not playing Shooting Star because it's just too, I just find there are situations where Leo is way better. And then one Star Eater to finish off that. And then just the whole load of tokens for the Dracosack. Other card I'm not playing in this deck, I'm not playing Dandelion in this deck because it just clogs so badly. So yeah. So yeah guys, that is the deck profile. I hope you like it. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment and subscribe for more. Peace out.